Hello again and welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. I'm Dave and today I'm going to be answering a question that was sent in by Amanda. Now, Amanda's question was this. Hi Dave, I've been playing the guitar since I was 16. I'm now 45 and I still have very basic knowledge. I've written and recorded tons of songs for myself, but they're extremely basic on the guitar side, just enough to accompany my lyrics. I would really love to improve, not for anyone but myself. I need to start over again. I need to know where to start. I know that I need to learn more chords, learn scales, etc. First I know I want to learn my chords, after that I have no clue where to go. Scales, lead, picking, can you help? Thanks in advance. Well, yes I can help. And excellent questions, one of the best questions I've had for a while actually. You mentioned learning chords first, so like learning more chords and then perhaps going on to learn scales. I think there could be some value in learning a little bit about scales before you start to learn more about chords. There's a few different disciplines in music, and I think you're right in identifying scales that you need to get perhaps more into the theory side of things. And I don't think there's like a way to teach guitar, like an approach that says, you know, if you're going to learn guitar, stage 1 learn this, stage 2 learn that, stage 3 so on. It always has to be kind of almost like a course developed for each individual student. Now when I'm working with someone one-to-one, that's an approach I can take. Working like remotely on the internet through a medium like YouTube, it's not something I can do. I can just come up with some general advice and perhaps give you some questions to ask yourself and challenge yourself about where you want to go and perhaps help you to make those decisions and kind of give you some guides for things to consider. So I think that learning the theory side is important because it helps you understand what is working, how the notes that you're playing, how they relate to each other, why one piece of music might work and sound good, why other notes, if you played them, wouldn't sound so good, why when you're playing a series of chords, why the chords contain the notes that they do, why you play certain notes and not certain chords and not others, when you're playing in a given key, you know, what a key is, even all that sort of thing. So there's a few different things that I think you need to know. You need to understand a little bit of scale theory. Now when I first start teaching somebody scales and they're not too sure where they want to go, I'm always a little bit conflicted if I lead them down the route of learning the major scale first or learning the minor pentatonic. The minor pentatonic, or if you add a note to it, gives you the minor blues scale, is a scale that it's used so much in like contemporary styles and blues and rock and so on. Because you can do so much. Do so much with that scale. However, the other scale, often considered teaching somebody first, and Amanda, in your case, I think it's probably more appropriate, it's the major scale, this scale. It should sound familiar. Basically, the major scale is sort of the foundation of all the music theory that we learn. All the scale theory that we do, all the chord construction and so on, it's all referenced back to the major scale, so it's a good starting point. Now a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about in this video I've already done separate video tutorials about, so if you have a look on the PhatPhish Guitar Studio YouTube channel you'll find playlists for things like guitar technique, music theory and so on. There's a whole bunch of tutorial videos in there. Also on the PhatPhish website, which is either that address or that address depending on where I put it in the edit, I've got a whole bunch of textual tutorials with some diagrams and so on the main website. You might want to have a look at those as well. So yeah, going back to learning scales, learning chords and so on. Understanding the major scale first I think is a good starting point, and then from that learn about chord construction. Before you start to expand your chord vocabulary, learn how chords are built, why you get certain chords within a key. You know, if you've been playing for a while, you probably know chords like C major and G major, probably know A major, you'll also know A minor. What you might not have realised is there's a reason why you'll often find pieces of music that have C major, G major and A minor together. They occur in the same piece, but you wouldn't get C major, G major and A major. A major kind of doesn't fit in with those other two chords, and there's a reason for that. And if you get into the theory behind chord construction and understanding why chords contain the notes that they do, and how the chords within a key and the notes within those chords relate to each other, you start to understand what chords you have available to you. As you get more into chord construction, you also understand about the other chord types that are available to you. So, for example, if you've been playing for a while, I'm sure you know D major. Probably know D minor as well. Now, if you've got a reasonable chord vocabulary, you should also know some 7 chords. So, do you know about D major 7? Do you know about D minor 7? Do you know about D dominant 7? There's chords like D sus 4, D sus 2. And other chords you can build on that D. How about a D dominant 9? All of those chords are based on a D root note, contain different combinations of notes, and could be used in different keys, in different contexts, and have more variety in their sound. So you can make, when you're writing your chord progressions to put your lyrics over, you can come up with something that sounds a bit more interesting. So rather than just playing straight major chords or minor chords, you can use 7th chords, extended chords, or whatever. So if you study chord theory a little bit and understand what notes are available to you and what chords are available to you, you can start to expand. So that's the chord side of things. Where you want to take your playing, though, I think depends a bit on what inspires you. Who do you listen to? What other guitar players? What other styles of music do you listen to? And you think, I want to be able to do that, or there's something about that which appeals, and I want to incorporate it into my own play. So I suspect there's something that's triggered you down the route of learning more about chords. But from the sounds of it, all you've been playing so far is very chordal accompaniment type of things. If you want to expand your horizons, you might want to think about, well, how do you play those chords? Are you just playing them with a simple strumming pattern? Are you playing it with individual finger picking or hybrid picking, where you're using a combination of pick and fingers? Different techniques for playing those chords. You might want to take your playing down that sort of route. Another route you could go down is thinking more about like lead playing and playing melody lines. Going back to the point again, is about being able to understand the theory and how to apply it. If you know what key you're playing in, what chords are available to you, then you know what scale you've got, and you can then play notes from that scale over the top of your chord progressions. It's like when you're singing your lyrics, you're singing a melody. You might want to think about being able to play melody lines on the guitar, being able to play a sequence of chords, what we call a chord progression, and then playing a lead line over the top of it. And that's a whole other avenue you can go down. Learning scales, learning where the notes of those scales occur on the fingerboard, and getting to grips with picking technique, holding a pick and using it to sound out individual notes to be able to play melody lines. Again, plenty of tutorials about that on the YouTube channel. And elsewhere, there's plenty of other people besides me are teaching guitar out there on YouTube and elsewhere on the internet. So look around for different resources for things that could help you to learn and could inspire you. Now it's probably a good time to mention PhatPhish. PhatPhish itself is a little study aid that I built a good many years ago, and it's available through the PhatPhish website. It's basically a little computer application that allows you to visualise where the notes of scales are on the guitar. And the same note can occur in more than one place, so it helps you to find where are the notes of a scale and being able to visualise scale boxes on the neck. So things that you can use to get your fingers used to playing the notes of scales. Having said that, it's important not to just get into the pattern of playing a lead melody is just being a case of running up and down scales. You need to be able to think melodically and put some phrasing into it to make your lead line sound interesting and inspiring, rather than just running up and down scales. So there's a thing about learning scale theory there, about understanding what the notes of the scale are, and you can use that in lead melody lines. It helps to understand the chords that you're playing over the top of, so you still need to understand chords to be able to do that. And the different technique, exercises you can do for improving your picking technique. So once you get into grips with the basic scales and you want to start playing a little bit faster, little picking exercises and things will be useful to help you sort of progress and play a little bit faster and more smoothly and more confidently. So there's, I guess, the idea of going down the rhythm guitar route and expanding your chord vocabulary and playing more inventively with chords, or there's the route of going more down the lead guitar route, being much more melody based and playing lead lines and so on, or play both. It depends on how much time you have to dedicate to doing this stuff and getting better. I think it's great that you've kind of made the decision that you want to get better at guitar and you want to learn new stuff. So this is, as I said at the start, this is quite a difficult question to answer. It's a really, really good question, but when I'm working on a medium like this, it's quite difficult to answer it without being able to have a dialogue with you and understand what your aspirations are, what your influences are, and so on. But I think hopefully there's something out of the last few minutes of ramblings that might have inspired you or given you some food for thought and given you somewhere where you might want to kind of take your investigations into where you want to go next. The one thing I can't stress enough is you need to understand what it is that you're doing, which is why I often focus quite strongly on the music theory side of things. It's about understanding what it is that you're playing. You could quite easily get a book like this, so a book that I bought years ago when I was first learning guitar, and it is just full of chord diagrams, all the different chords, and you think, well, I need to learn these chords to be able to play guitar. Well, you need to learn the chords, but just learning them as shapes doesn't give you the insight as to how to use them. Learning the music theory lets you understand what notes are in those chords, why those chords contain the notes that they do, how they relate to each other, why you would play some chords in certain situations and not others. And then allowing your ears to guide you as to, well, knowing what chords are kind of available to you, what sounds they have and which ones you might want to use or might not want to use in certain situations to give you a particular sound or whatever. Okay, so I hope that helped. If it did, please click like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the different options down there. If you've got any other questions, if you want to go here, there's a form you can fill in and send me a question. I'll try and get around to answering it in a future video. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video next time. Bye for now.